So we pretty well know that this book, the Qur'an, could not have been written way down in the Hijaz. And we've got a lot of scholarship, but let's go to the one who knows the Arabic the best. Let's go to Al-Jalad. Let's see what Al-Jalad say. I want to see what he has to say, because he's going to go and show us something that's even stronger to prove that this book could not have been the Hijaz. Where does he put it? Tune in. We'll find out.
We've asked a question about Mecca. We've asked a question about Hijaz. Now we need to ask the question about, so where did the Quran come from? And with me here to answer this question is our dear brother, Dr. J. Smith. Dr. J, so in light of everything that we've shared so far, quotations and so on and so forth concerning, Mecca, its prominence or lack of, Hijaz and issues in there. So what do these scholars say about the origin of the Quran?
Well, obviously, they pretty much refused to accept that it originated in a place called Mecca or Medina, the Hijaz. So where are they going to place it? Where would you think they placed it? Before we get into their quotations, before we get into their view, where would you think they placed it? Teman, Khaybar, Petra, the Gulf of Aqaba, Najran, Sana, Aden, where would you place? Where do you think they're going to place it?
I'm taking a wild guess. It's possible that they still place it in Mecca.
In Mecca. Okay. Let's see if he's correct. Do you think he's correct? Do you think that after everything you've heard, after everything he's heard, he still thinks it's in Mecca? Come on. Can you see?
I mean, I personally would place it north, but I'm saying, where did they place it?
Yeah. Let's see what they do. So let's go back and let's go at Shoemaker. This is on page 136, 137. So we're still on this great book that we're really pushing, and we would like you to buy it. Go to Amazon.com. It just came out a few months ago in 2022, August. Now, he says, the term Old Hijaz, we call it the Old Hijazi, may be a misnomer, as this corpus of writing is not located in the Hijaz area. Okay, that's pretty clear from everything we've seen in the previous episodes. Instead, he continues, the witness to this dialect are overwhelmingly found in the Levant. Now, the Levant, where do you think the Levant is? Tell our good friends, where is that?
Well, that would be north, of course, of the Arabian Peninsula. That would include areas like the Lebanon, modern-day Lebanon, Syria, parts of Iraq, So that's pretty much what we're calling the Levant. You can even argue that Israel is included in that region.
What is today Israel? What is today Syria? What is today Jordan? What is today Iraq?
Jordan, of course. Yeah.
Just so people don't say you don't know what you're talking about because those places didn't even exist in the 70s. Yes, we know that. We're trying to help you on a map today. So on a map today, these places, Syria, of course, in the north, to the west of that would be Lebanon and what is today Israel, and then of course Jordan, and then Iraq and Iran, or the Sassan area over here. That's what he's saying. So the Levant is that area. Up in the north, but it's mostly in Jordan and Syria. So that's where he says the witness to this dialect are overwhelmingly found up there. Soon after this region came under the dominion of Muhammad's followers. Now he's still claiming these are Muhammad's followers. The area is in northern Arabia. Dedan would be a much better fit, and Dedan is what it would be in the Levant. That is in Jordan. That is up in the north. Then Mecca, and the central Hijaz for the script found in the Quran, because we know it's Nabatean Aramaic. The person you need to go to, and he does quote him, and this is Al-Jalad. Al-Jalad, what do you know about Al-Jalad?
Well, I mean, what I know based on my exposure to some of his work is that he really focuses on inscriptions.
Yeah.
I would call him probably the world authority when it comes on the Arabic inscriptions in that region.
Your good friend Mark Dury, Dr. Mark Dury, actually uses him and employs him for his book on this, and he's just done a great article on early Quranic Arabic. And he said he quotes Al-Jalad in the inscriptions he's found, and the inscriptions Al-Jalad found are way up north in what is today Jordan, in that part of the world. And he says this. Actually, it's Shoemaker quoting Al-Jalad. Al-Jalad has found a potential witness to an Old Hijazi dialect from the 7th century CE, which comes from a single 10-word funerary inscription from Dedan, one of the northern oasis towns that is also mentioned several times in the Hebrew Bible. So no surprise there that they're putting it up further north. Why? Well, Shoemaker gives three distinctive features that Jalad refers to. And he says this old Hijazi dialect has three distinguishing features. Number one, a distinctive form of what they call the relative pronoun. Number two, a distinctive form of the distal demonstrative. And number three, the use of the verbal construction an yaf'ala in circumstances where other dialects would use an infinite form. We also, Jalad goes on beyond that. Jalad, as we know, when we talked about him, he also refers to the alaf maksur and tar marbuta. These are the ending of words that do not, they're right through the Quran. And of course, the definite article itself, al. So these are right through the Quran. Those did not exist in the Sabaic Arabic that would have been used in the Hijaz. The Sabaic Arabic from the Sabine material way down in Yemen, that's the kind of Arabic that would be used in that area. We're going to talk about that in another upcoming episode. So it's very clear from what Jalad is saying is these demonstrative, distal demonstratives and also the relative pronouns, these do not fit in this central part of Arabia. They all fit way up in the north, up in what is today Jordan, what is today Syria, that area of the world. So what Shoemaker then comes to a conclusion on this, and he does this in page 146 and 147 in his book. And it's a long conclusion. Let me just go ahead and read it so that you can understand it, because it's important that we do look at it. And he says this: the most probable circumstances for understanding the early history of the Quranic texts leads to the conclusion that its contents circulated for a significant period of time in the absence of any written collection of Muhammad's teaching. The earliest teachings were passed down orally, and then later on were then written as they had come to remember them, within a broader context of the sectarian milieu of the late ancient Near East. Now, what he's saying is, this makes sense. You need to look and see the sectarian milieu. You need to look at the groups that were actually introduced, that were actually discussing this, that were existed at that time. And the Quran is full of these sectarian groups. Wansborough, he wrote a book on the sectarian milieu just on this very point. So Shoemaker is mimicking what Wansborough said much earlier in the 1970s. No doubt, Shoemaker continues, these memories of Muhammad's teaching continue to change and grow even after they had begun to be written down. This is not at all uncommon, especially at the time when a community is making the shift from orality to writing. He's going to talk about this later, and so I'm not going to say too much more on that. The Quran, therefore, he says, only achieved its invariable archetypal form sometime around the turn of the 8th century. The circumstances of extended oral transmission and the existence of rival versions of the Quran. So he's talking about different codices, he's talking about rival codices, he's talking about written texts. Established a very high likelihood that the memories of Muhammad, now he's saying these memories would have been oral at some time written down, but written with different memories. You have a memory, I have a memory, someone else has a memory, you write it in different codices, they do not agree. So he's talking about these codices. Muhammad's teachings would have changed significantly as they got written down during the period between his death and the establishment of the now canonical version. Now, that's a mouthful what he's saying there, but what he's basically pointing to is when you have this memory that's coming out of, he says, the Hijaz, when you have this memory then gets starting to be written down. But of course, by the time these people have moved up to the north, they're moving into different sections. They're creating different sectarian groups, and they're reflecting their different sectarian groups. So therefore, different codices start to be created. Well, these codices do not parallel each other, so something had to be done to bring down a canonical text. He points that to Al-Hajjaj and Abd al-Malik in the turn of the century into the 8th century. I'm going to bring up something, and this is fascinating because and while I agree that this is one possible scenario, he's missing a huge point here. And it's so glaring to me, it was so frustrating to me that I'm going to wait before I get into that for the next episode, because I want to look at Schumacher and say, you've got a problem here, Shoemaker, not Schumacher, that's the German pronunciation. You've got a difficulty here that you need to help me with, because there's red flags flying all over the place. But that's for the next episode when we get into that.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously still believes in the existence of Muhammad at that time. That's what he's saying. A character by the name Muhammad exists in the 7th century. His his teachings are being collected and sometimes memorized or written, and then over the course of time, this writing was being standardized as we approach the 8th century.
Well, hold on to that. Hold on to that. Do you see any problems with that?
What I'm saying, that's what he seems to be insinuating, an existence of a character by the name Muhammad in the 7th century. He's not seeing it as if there is a problem with the origin of the Quran, then you should really, by virtue, and Mecca, by virtue, you can say there's a problem about the man.
In the next episode, I'm going to start quoting from a French scholar named Guillaume D, because he's going to shut down Shoemaker on this one point. But let's wait and see what he has to say.
All right. I still like Shoemaker, and I like his book, regardless of what Jay thinks about this part of the book.
I love Shoemaker, but he does have some problems, and that's what we're going to talk about next.
We're doing really peer review. That's all we're doing. And I hope really Dr. Shoemaker looks at this as a way of us, especially myself and from my background, that we are helping strengthen his hypothesis, not attacking it in any way. And I'm hoping that one time in the future, maybe he would agree to join us via Zoom or at least be with us one way or another. And we extend our invitation to him. And I hope I can find a way to reach out to him to extend this invitation in person. Again, thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next episode, have a blessed day. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, Sira International, and click on the bell so that you receive notifications whenever we publish a new video or go live. I would also like to appeal to you to consider becoming a Patreon patron by clicking the link right below. By doing so, you can give towards the production of these videos. There are also other options for you where you can give to our channel. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.